101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's one of the best coach from Australia. No other than Miss Catherine Crestani.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Daniel.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Catherine. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm a leadership coach, an author, a speaker, and my background is actually in allied health. So, I came from running my own company, which was turning over six figures, and it was just not serving me. So, basically, my health was running down, and I built such a culture that everyone else was benefiting, but not me at all. So, I was suffering from chronic stress, burnout, adrenal fatigue, panic attacks, insomnia, anxiety, you name it, anything to do with stress, it was happening in my life. And I had no time for my family. I had no time for my health because it was actually just all about management and was truly in survival mode, even to the point where I'd be waking up in the middle of the night and have to write down and go send emails because there was so much that I felt I had to do, and I created that myself. And when I decided to sell the company, I thought, great. My boss, at the time, because I kept working for him, he's bought my stress. Awesome. Wonderful. Except I didn't actually realize that I subconsciously didn't feel I was worthy of that money. I had that belief that I always had to work hard to earn the money, that I always had to, a detriment to myself. That was the only way I could earn money. And so subconsciously we pushed it all away, and I still don't know. My husband and I still today don't even know where it all went. It just all kind of disappeared. And we went not even back to, but we went to living from paycheck to paycheck. And it was really a reflective experience about really getting to know what was going on with me that was attracting that, because I'd already kind of gone through my spiritual awakening. So I'd been doing healing with people, and it was only when I trusted the universe and followed that pull that I got up in the middle of the night to show up for this free masterclass. And at the end of the free masterclass, this coach had this beautiful offering. And because it was a soft launch, it was the first time he was doing this new program, it was worth so much Malaysian ringgit. And I just sat there and went, I wonder what that's in Australian. And I put it in and it converted, and it was exactly pretty much what I had left in my bank account. And I was like, I have to do this. This is a sign, right? And within 3 months, I started believing in myself again. I'd started attracting clients. So I'd been trying to become a coach and trying to work with people at that coaching level. But because I didn't believe I could do that, I wasn't attracting those people. So all of a sudden, I had coaches. I had money flowing in from random places. I didn't even know where it was coming from. It's like, oh, great. This is amazing. Thank you for the abundance, and I just sat back and went, okay, this time when I build a business, this time when I build my life, I'm going to make it for me. I'm not going to do what society thinks. So, we even sold a car because we're like, hey, that's a financial thing that we can have in our lives to invest, because we only needed one car, not two. Now we're selling our house because we're trusting, there's something better for us, a better way of living rather than, always having to pay a mortgage. So again, we're reshaping our life. And really that's what I do with my clients. So we build the life that they want based on their business goals, their family, their health, but from a place of self-leadership. Because if you don't believe you can be the change, if you don't have that support, then nothing else is going to change in your life. So, it's something really pertinent to remember when you're moving forward, that you always have the choice to change, and it's the choices you make that define and show who you are. So, yeah.
Miss Catherine Crestani, thank you so much for sharing your talents to the world. So let's talk about your healing journey. What does a healing journey mean to you?
That's on so many levels. So I've already explained a bit how I healed from actually, no, I didn't explain it. I just told you I was suffering from all this stress. But when I actually started to work on myself and shift all those things, because I truly believe that most of the things that show up in our body are a response of us not ignoring emotions that are happening in our life. So emotions are a gateway to letting us heal. And if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. So we're truly feeling something and going to the deep root cause of it, then you can have shifts in your ailments. And it doesn't matter what it is, as much as you can pull anything and see that there's some sort of emotional underlying thing. So when I shifted the stress and when I started to have that wordiness again, I was taking so many supplements, natural supplements, because I'm all about kind of alternative health, but I was taking so many things. And when I went back to my naturopath just a month ago, he's like, you don't need anything. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm so used to walking out with this shopping bag of supplements. And all of a sudden it's like, no, you actually don't need anything. You're doing a great job. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, so from a physical perspective, that has shifted quite a lot. But then from a spiritual perspective, it was really unpacking all these beliefs of self-doubt and low self-worth, and believing that, even from a mindset perspective, that I couldn't do all these things that I was envisioning, that I couldn't be enough by myself, that I couldn't, be the change I wanted to see in the world. And it was really coming back to my inner wisdom and learning to trust my intuition that big shifts started to happen in my life. And even when people would contradict what my intuition was saying, I was learning to trust that and just surrender to the universe and move forward with that. And then magic just starts to happen. And, these synchronicities will come up, and I'll end up, meeting people like yourself or meeting other people and going, wow, how did I even get here? How did I, I don't know if you've had moments like that in your life, Daniel, where you just feel like, wow, I'm in this room with this person and this is amazing. And I'm just really grateful right now for being here, because I can see where it will help me in the future and help me move forward.
Truly. Be grateful of what you have and stop complaining. So, Miss Catherine, what are some key events of experience that shape your healing journey?
I guess the biggest one was actually what started everything of the healing journey was my friend. We were driving home, this high school friend. We were driving home one night because he was dropping me home afterwards because I caught the train. And we were listening to music, and I used to love making mixtapes and, creating CDs for my friends. And, I was really passionate about music, and I kind of just turned it all off with the relationship I was in. But all he did was he turned to me and he said, I don't know who you are anymore. And I was like, I don't know who I am anymore either. And it just caused this spiral events where I realized that my whole life I'd actually built at that point was about making sure everyone else was happy and making sure everyone else was okay, which then obviously flowed onto my company. Now I'm talking about it to you. But and I had to make choices. So one of them was I actually chose my first marriage, because it wasn't that we weren't growing together. We married quite young and we just grew apart, and we weren't good for each other. We weren't pushing each other to grow. We weren't flourishing with that. And then I was in a business partnership at the time. And because I'd come back and started to be really happy with who I was as myself, then I could see all the cracks in the business partnership. And I always say that my personal divorce was nice and smooth, but my business divorce was turmoil. So, and then when I started my spiritual journey, there was these points where I did a lot of inner work. So like connecting with past lives, connecting in with my heart, and trusting and letting go of these patterns and beliefs that I had. But then also when I got to, this point where before I decided I needed to sell my company, I had staff start to leave. So there's a thing in the spiritual world called the dark night of the soul, and it's not a night. It's like a big period of time, and it happens, and I call it round 1, round 2, round 3. And what happened was I had 3 staff leave, and to find allied health in Australia is actually, like, good allied health staff's really hard. And I had 3 staff resign all within a week. And I was just devastated because I was trying to pull back and look after my health, and I was really not in an okay position. And I was like on the floor crying in that ball, just, absolutely devastated. And my son and my husband are like, it's okay, keep going, you can get up. And I'm like, okay. So, and then it happened again within a month, another 3 staff. resigned. And I was like, whoa, like what's going on there? But it wasn't as devastating the first time. And then another 3 star that's it and that cycle, that journey. But I also need to sell this business. So it took all those things to happen to make me actually push me over, because part of me believed that I built this business up from scratch. So part of me believed that, it was my baby. I can't let my
Mm-hmm.
baby go, and I really attached myself to the outcome. So, if the business was doing well, then I was doing well, but the business was doing poorly, then I was doing poorly. And that is not a healthy outlook for anyone listening. And it's not a healthy thing. So it was through all those kind of aspects that, it's those moments in your life that shape that healing journey and let you start to pull it apart. And it was only once the clarity of how much that impacted me, and the stress is still coming out. As much as I've moved off supplements, I'm still working my digestive health, things like that. But it was only when I went to this practitioner and she said, if you kept on the path you were on, you would have ended up with an autoimmune disease, because your body was attacking itself because it was constantly stressed. And it was
Mm-hmm.
that clarity for me that I knew I was on the right path and I'd made the right decision. And it was through that, and then also through being a mum and watching all these mums in burnout. As a speech language pathologist, I work with a lot of children. And when I saw all these mums coming in that were tired and run down and unwell and not putting any time aside to look after them, I'm like, these people, these mums need nourishment. These mums need to know that it's okay to actually put yourself first every now and then. And then that's what shaped and fueled my coaching business, because I want to help those mums rediscover themselves and put themselves back in their life where they are number one and everything else comes afterwards. So instead of always giving everything so there's nothing left in our cup, we fill our cup up, and that overflow is what everyone else gets.
Certainly, very well said, Miss Catherine. Very well articulated. So let's talk about physical healing. What role does physical health play in your overall healing process?
Well, when physical things start to show up in your body, that is truly when you've been ignoring things for too long. So, our body gives us clues of what's happening in our life. So, for example, if you're having trouble with your liver all the time, it's normally because you haven't processed anger or frustration, and you keep pushing it down, pushing it down. And we've got this caveat in our cultures where we've been taught, it's these bad emotions. There's no such thing as bad emotions. They're just emotions. Like if you're feeling angry, you need to get angry. Saying I'm angry is not going to let it go. You need to go punch something or scream into a pillow or stomp your foot, or, if you have a boxing bag, go hit it. Let the anger out, because if you keep pushing it down, you're going to end up with issues with your liver. You're going to end up with, all these rage things. And then you get to that point, right, where someone will say one little thing to you and you erupt like a volcano, and they get the wrath rather than actually feeling all the points up to that point. The same if you don't deal with your grief. Like if you're grieving a lot, and it doesn't have to necessarily be losing a loved one. Grief can be losing a dream. It can be, losing your identity. It can be losing, something that you thought was really important to you, and then it shifts. It might be even a job, and if you deny that grief and keep pushing it down, it manifests in your lungs, and you end up with chronic lung conditions. So when you start to really listen and look at the physical symptoms happening in your body and be curious about it, and start to ask, instead of how do I fix this, and ask what caused this, and start to go deeper into those deeper layers, then you will start to unpack your true healing from your physical standpoint and really see underneath the things that you've been ignoring. And when you can really sit in with that and honor that, that is when you get the true healing, because you were feeling. There we go.
True feeling, people. True feelings. So, have you tried alternative or holistic healing methods? If so,
That's,
what was your experience?
that's all I use.
All of it.
All of it. So
Right.
I've had, so I have a naturopath, I have a homeopath, I've done chiropractic, I've done Bowen therapy, which is resetting the fascia in the body. I have done acupuncture. I've done this thing, which we actually have one, which is a Rife frequency. So Rife frequencies measure the frequencies in your body that are out of alignment, and then it puts frequencies back in and realigns them, which is very, very cool. What else have I done? Oh, I've had energy healing done. I've had Reiki. I'm curious. I will try pretty much anything kind of alternative. And it was from a very young age, like in my early 20s, that the medical system wasn't serving me. And I chose to start seeking out these alternative things. And it came back from a magnesium deficiency. So I was at a conference actually with biomedical pediatricians. So they're pediatricians that try and merge herbal medicine in with their actual practices as well. And this pediatrician was giving this talk and saying, oh, these are the common ways that deficiencies show up for kids. And they got to a magnesium one, and I had every symptom on the list. And I was like, oh, there's my problem, but no one could tell me until that point what was going on. And that's how I met my naturopath. And it was from there that my curiosity into alternative healing practices really evolved.
Yes. So how do you handle setbacks or relapses in physical recovery?
I have a good team. So this is the thing. So when you're feeling great, that is the best time to work on yourself, because when you are in that state of alignment or feeling like your body's really good, that is actually the best time you can do some work on your body, because you're not in emergency tragedy mode, I guess. So you're not there going, oh, now I'm in a crisis and I've thrown my back out completely. Instead, having that maintenance and having like checking in, okay, what can I do so I don't return to that state, or what can I do to keep myself healthy and keep my body working? That is really important. So having a really nice team, and this goes with coaching as well, having your dream team around you of people who can support you and will keep pushing yourself to that point that you can stay in a state of homeostasis, that you can stay healthy. Because when you're running a business or when you're a mum and running around, if your health goes down, everything else tends to go down too, right? Especially as a mum. So
Yeah.
it was funny because I posted this on Instagram this morning. I'm like, if you go down, who's going to remember all the snacks and the water and the hats and everything that needs to be done? So it's really this synergy of looking after your health is so integral to the rest of your life as well.
Certainly, totally agree, Miss Catherine. So let's talk about educational and mental health healing. How has the emotional pain influenced your healing journey?
The emotions have been really learning to stop suppressing them. So, if you need to cry, cry. And it doesn't mean it's a girl thing. I know that was like a big thing for Australia culture anyway, only girls cry. So it's not only a girl's thing. Everyone's meant to cry. It's a big release. It's
Yes,
incredibly healing. And even for your mental health, the more that you push down your emotions and don't acknowledge what's happening, then that's when you start to get your anxiety and your panic disorders and panic attacks, and those sort of things start to come up. Because if you ignore the emotions that are underneath it, then they're just going to simmer up and come out a different way in a more extreme version.
certainly. So, Miss Catherine, what would be your advice for those people want to heal themselves?
That's a tricky one. Okay, so the image I'm getting is that, write down everything that's going on with your body and learn to love it. And I know that sounds really weird, but if you can love yourself in this state that you might deem as broken and truly honor that, then you can love yourself completely. And when you can love yourself completely, then you can actually start to heal. You can't heal a body that you hate. You have to love it. And even if it's giving you pain, you find a way to give gratitude to that, because it might be, I'm thankful for this pain because I'm in my body. It might be something like that, or I'm thankful for this pain, it means I'm alive. Whatever it might be, because when we give gratitude and that love, then it helps elevate your experience and helps you feel better. And if you find that you can't move shift out of something yourself, this is where it's really important to have support around you. We're not meant to do this journey alone. We're meant to collaborate with other people, whether it's your doctor, whether it's an acupuncturist, whether it's a naturopath, whether it's, someone that does neuroemotional tech. It doesn't matter. It's whatever feels right for you. And also trusting that feeling, trusting your intuition. If a doctor tells you something and it doesn't feel right, explore that and see what is making you question that, and go for a second opinion, go for a third opinion, or go for an alternative opinion. It doesn't matter. Just trusting that something that was said doesn't feel right to you and honoring that, because the more you honor that, the more you can trust your inner wisdom as well.
Totally agree, 100%, Miss Catherine. So, what would be your short term and long term goals as a coach, as an author, and everything that you are doing right now?
Oh, my short-term goals are to connect with more beautiful mums across the globe, to
Yes.
empower them and find their voice again in exactly what they want to share with this world, whatever level that might be. And then, my long-term goal for this year is to create and publish 10 books. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but that's my big goal. That's what I got told. I'm like, I'm just going to run with it. And then also, my vision is to create a system where we're truly nourished and nurtured, and whatever capacity that means. And if it means, creating alternate ways for people to learn, alternate ways for people to grow and heal, then that's what needs to happen, because this world is not honoring us as an individual. And we need to come back to honoring ourselves and being connected with people who support us and lift us up.
Miss Catherine, good luck to your goals and thank you for your advice. So, to wrap up our discussion for today, how do relationships with others like friends, family, mentors impact your healing?
Well, if you're around people that are constantly putting down your ideas, putting down your visions, your dreams, they are not the right people to be in your life, even if they're family. And sometimes you have to have those really deep and powerful conversations to actually shift that. Because if you're constantly around those people and letting them bring you down, because we're all energy and that energy does pull you down, it's not going to serve you. And that can be really difficult to come to terms with. But when you start to see that and step back from that, you start to find people in your life that say, yeah, that's amazing. How can I support you? How can I push you? How can I help you get to that vision you have? Or, how can I push you up through those dreams? They're the people that you want in your life. You want the people that are like, okay, I can see you're running. Do you need me to bring you some water along the way just so I can help you refuel to keep going? And what do you need from me? Or can I just hold space for you? So being really conscious of the relationships that you have around you, and you might feel like, and they're the ones that when you leave, you feel icky afterwards, right? Like you go to the event or you go to the catch up and you leave and you're like, oh, why do I feel like
Awful.
awful? Exactly. Why do I feel awful? You don't want to hang out with them, and you can say no. I'm giving you permission right now. You can say no to them. And you can say no to answering the phone call that you don't want to have. And you can say no to responding to a message that's just going to end up toxic. It's okay to say no if it doesn't align with who you are. And yes, they might say you're selfish. So what? Honor yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
true. Miss Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your talents to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your activities right now as an author and as a coach or whatever you're doing
Oh,
profession?
perfect. So if you want, you can connect with me on Instagram or Threads, which is Willow Healing SH is the handle. You can also check out my website, which has an app, which is willowhealing.org. There's lots of free stuff there as well. I'm running a retreat at the start of August in Byron Bay in Australia. So that's on the website too. And if you want to check out my Substack, it's willowhealing.substack.com, which has a link to my podcast, which is Willow Healing Matters. And you also get some just positive motivational pieces that you can have in your inbox each week.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Catherine Crestani because if you support her, more and more coaching to come, more and more books to come. So, Miss
Yes.
Catherine, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon.